Vanta Market never slept. It floated inside a metal ring, bright with neon and loud with trade. Vendors shouted, machines hummed, and the air smelled of spice, oil, and hot metal. Mira moved through the crowd with her hood up.
And she was human?
Small and alone. But she had learned one rule: do not look rich, and do not look scared. Her jacket was patched. Her pockets were empty, except for one credit chip. She had not come to shop. She had come to survive at the far end of the pens. Her lights were dim and the floor was dirty. She heard a sound that did not belong in a market. A slow, broken breath. Like something huge was trying not to die. Mira stopped. A cage leaned. Against the wall, built from black bars and old shock coils. Inside lay a creature too large for it. Scales like dull steel, wings pinned with chains. A cracked horn. Dark blood dried along its side. A dragon, not a pet, not a myth. An alien worm, the kind station warnings called Class 1 threat. Its seller lounged beside the cage, bored, thick neck, quick smile, cold eyes. "Keep walking, kid," he said. "Nothing here for you." Mira stared at the dragon's ribs. They rose, then fell, then paused too long. Its eyelid twitched. "What happened?" Mira asked. "Poison brand," the seller said, like he was naming a broken tool. "Hunters use it. Stops healing. Stops strength. It won't last long. I'm selling what's left." Mira saw the collar around the dragon's neck. A metal ring, with tiny marks cut into it. A lock sat at the front, stamped with a sharp symbol she did not know. "How much?" she asked. The seller's grin widened. 300 credits. Mira almost laughed, but no sound came out. Her hand slid into her pocket and touched her chip. 3 credits. Her last. The money for food, money for a place to sleep. She pulled it out anyway. "I have 3, she said. "I will pay 3. Seller blinked. Then he laughed loud. 2 nearby merchants glanced over and smirked. 3, the seller said. "That's nothing." "It is all I have," Mira said. The dragon's eye opened a thin slit. The pupil was bright and deep, and it fixed on Mira as if it knew her face. The look felt heavy, like standing under a storm. The seller waved a hand. "Fine, take it," he said, still amused. "Take the dying beast and get out of my stall. No refunds." Mira's throat tightened. "You accept?" He tapped the payment pad on his wrist. "Pay, and it's yours." Mira pressed the chip to the pad. Beep. The transfer confirmed. The market changed. It was not a crash or a scream. It was silence, spreading fast. Voices stopped mid-sentence. A hovering drone drifted, and then held still. Grill flame cut off. And the hiss vanished. The neon signs kept glowing, but the place felt dim, like the light itself was listening. A glass cup slipped from a counter and shattered.
Ow.
No one cursed. No one flinched. No one even turned. Mira looked around, confused. "Why is everyone silent?" she whispered. At a checkpoint, a tall alien guard slowly turned. His eyes went from Mira to the collar symbol, and fear tightened his jaw. He did not speak. He raised a hand and signaled other guards to step back, as if the air had become dangerous. Seller's smile died. He stared at his wrist pad and tried to cancel the sale. His fingers shook. "No," he muttered. "No, no." The screen flashed. Transaction locked. The collar symbol glowed faintly, like it had been waiting for that exact number. The dragon's chains rattled once, not from weakness, but from waking. Mira backed away from the cage, heart hammering. "I didn't mean." I just inside her mind. A voice formed without sound. Clear and calm. "You paid the vow-price." Mira froze. "Now we are bound." Far above, a distant alarm began to rise, thin and sharp. Meant for the whole station, Dragon's eye opened fully. And Vanta Market held its breath for the first time. Asterisk, the alarm grew louder. a rising wail that cut through the new silence. Red strips of light slid across the ceiling. Somewhere metal gates slammed, sealing routes one by one. Doors hissed as security shutters began to drop in the distance. Mira's hands went cold. She looked at the seller. His face was gray now, his mouth open, but he did not dare speak. Around them the crowd moved in careful steps, like any sound might be a trigger kid. The seller tried to whisper, but his throat locked. He swallowed and forced out a breath. "Give it back." Mira did not answer. She turned to the cage. The dragon's huge head rested on the floor, but its eyes stayed on her. It was awake now, not strong, but present. The glow on the collar faded to a steady ember. Inside her mind, same voice returned, low and steady. "Move." Mira swallowed. "How?" She whispered, "Your hands." The chain pull. She should not have been able to. The chain links were thick, meant for machines. But when Mira grabbed the front loop, heat ran up her arms. Not pain, power, like her bones remembered something old. She pulled. The chain slid. The cage bars bent outward with a groan. Mira's eyes widened. She did not understand, but she did not stop. She dragged the dragon forward inch by inch, as if the metal floor had turned to ice under it. A guard stepped closer, then stopped. He raised both palms, backing away. His lips moved without sound, packed. Other guards copied him, fear in their faces. They were trained for smugglers, for thieves, for small wars. Not for this. Mira looked left and right. People were watching, but none of them helped. None of them spoke. Silence was the rule now, and breaking it felt dangerous. The seller made a desperate sign with his hands, begging. Mira ignored him, leaned her weight back and pulled again. The dragon's wings scraped free with a harsh sound that made several aliens flinch. Above, a loudspeaker crackled. A voice tried to come through, but the system only produced a broken hiss. Then the message appeared on a screen nearby in bold station text. "Turn illegal cargo. Do not approach." Avoid contact. Mira's stomach tightened. Illegal cargo. That meant they would not ask questions. It would erase the problem. The dragon's mind voice pressed into her thoughts. Left tunnel. Behind the spice stacks, Mira followed the direction without thinking. She dragged the dragon toward a narrow service lane between two stalls. The lane was usually packed with workers and carts. Now it was empty. Like the whole market had stepped aside. A shadow moved at the end of the lane. 3 figures stood there, wearing black masks with silver lines. Their clothing was clean, too clean for a market. Their boots were quiet. Their eyes were sharp. The Scale Syndicate. Mira knew the name from street talk. They bought living things. They sold parts. They paid well for rare blood. The front figure raised one hand, slow and polite like a merchant. He did not speak. He tapped his wrist and a small holotext hovered between them. "We will take IT from here." Mira hugged the chain tighter. "No," she said, and the sound of her own voice felt wrong in the silence. Heads turned in the distance. The syndicate leader tilted his head. Another holotext appeared. "Human, you do not own that." Mira's jaw shook, but she stood her ground. "I paid," she said. "It is mine." The dragon's eye narrowed. Inside her mind, the voice sharpened. "Do not trust them." The leader lifted a small device, shaped like a thin pistol. A stun wand. He pointed it at Mira's chest. Mira's breath caught. She could run. She could let go. She could live. But then she looked back at the dragon. It was massive, trapped and wounded, and still it had warned her. Still it had called. Her bound. Not weak. Mira stepped in front of the dragon's head. The syndicate leader's finger tightened. A new holotext flashed, cold and final. "Stun her. Take the worm." The device began to hum. The stun wand's hum rose, thin and sharp. Mira did not move. She stood in front of the dragon, as if her small body could block a weapon. The syndicate leader aimed for her neck. His masked crew spread out, quiet and sure. Inside Mira's mind, the dragon's voice returned. Hold. Mira's fingers tightened on the chain. The wand flashed. A blue line jumped toward her chest. Before it hit, the air slammed downward. It felt like the station doubled its gravity. Mira's knees bent, but she stayed up. The syndicate men crashed to the floor. The wand clattered away. The dragon released. One deep exhale, not fire. Pressure metal creaked. The floor under the syndicate cracked in thin lines. Crates slid. Mira's eyes went wide. Now, the dragon said, "Run." Mira yanked the chain and pulled. She should not have been able to move a creature that big, but her arms did not fail. The dragon's heavy body slid, as if the chain carried hidden strength. Behind her, syndicate men groaned and fought to rise. Their limbs moved slow. Mira dragged the dragon into a service lane. Red warning lights swept the ceiling. Far away. Shutters slammed down, sealing paths. Ahead, a security gate started to drop, thick metal sheet sliding from above. If it closed, they were trapped. "Jump," the dragon ordered. Mira ran. She ducked under the falling gate, pulling the chain with both hands. The dragon's horns scraped the bottom edge. A spark snapped. The gate slammed shut behind them. On this side, the market was colder and quieter. Mira leaned against the wall, gasping. The dragon lay beside her, wings tight, chest rising in rough breaths. "Why can I pull you?" Mira whispered. "Because you paid." "That doesn't explain anything, old law," the dragon replied. 3 credits is a vow-price. Mira looked at the empty chip in her palm. "I only had 3.
Oh.
I didn't know it mattered. You did not need to know." The pact heard the choice. The dragon's body trembled. Mira saw the wound on its side again. Dark blood, burned edges. "What is killing you?" she asked. "A poison brand," the dragon said. "A place beneath the heart scale. It stops healing. Drains strength. Can you remove it? Not alone?" The dragon's breathing told the truth. It was losing time. Mira swallowed hard. "Then we find help." Footsteps clicked ahead. Mira froze. She pulled the chain back, trying to hide the dragon's head behind a support column. The footsteps stopped. A small figure stepped into view. Not a guard. It's not syndicate. An old alien with long ears and gray skin, wearing a stained market apron with tools hanging from it. He raised both hands, palms open, kept his mouth closed. More steps answered from the other side of the gate, and a muffled voice tried to shout, then stopped, as if someone grabbed their throat. The old alien pointed to a maintenance hatch and typed again. "Follow." He tapped a latch. The wall panel slid open, breathing out cold air from below. He pointed at Mira. Then at the dragon's collar, then drew a careful line across his own throat. Islands. Mira remembered the market freezing the moment she paid. The quiet law. She whispered. The old alien nodded once. He tapped his wrist pad. Hollow words floated between them. The Mune Pact wakes. Speaking marks you as witness. Witnesses get taken. Mira's stomach turned. Taken by who? The old alien's eyes lifted toward the upper decks, where private docks and rich fleets lived. Inside Mira's mind. The dragon pushed again, urgent. Look at the lock. Mira leaned closer to the collar. In this light, the symbol was clear, a crest. Not a random mark, split circle with 3 claw lines. Mira had seen it on banners near the main docks. The station ruler, she breathed. That's his fleet sign. The old alien flinched and stepped back. Above them, the alarm shifted tone. A corridor screen blinked and showed new text. Pact holder identified. Secure the human. Secure the worm. Mira's hands clenched around the chain. Then, from the dark behind the old alien, a heavy bootstep echoed closer. Asterisk, the bootstep came again, slow and heavy. Mira froze. Sen's eyes widened. He pointed at the open hatch. Mira slid inside. The space was tight, packed with pipes. She pulled the chain, and the dragon's bulk scraped the edge. Her arms burned, but the strange strength held. Sin slipped, and shut the panel. Darkness swallowed them. A bright beam swept outside. Boots paced, then moved away. Sen flicked on a small lamp. The tunnel lit up in dull yellow. He hurried forward, staying low. Mira followed, dragging the dragon. "Who are you?" Mira whispered. Sen pressed a finger to his lips, tapped his chest, and showed a name on his wrist screen. Sen. They reached a ladder and a grate. Sen climbed first, opened it, and helped Mira pull the chain up. The alarm echoed far away. At the top was a service corridor behind the market walls. Sin led them to a small door marked cleaning. Inside was a cramped room, with a sink, a bench, and an old medical kit. A thin, alien woman stood there with a scanner. Her eyes went wide when she saw the dragon. She stepped back, hands up. Sen typed on his wrist and showed her words. "Help. Dying. Quiet." The woman's lips moved, but she stopped herself. She pointed at the ceiling. "Cameras." Then she pointed at the collar crest and drew a cut across her throat. "No. Too risky. Please," Mira whispered. "He's dying." The woman hesitated. Finally, she opened the kit and sprayed the wound with sealing foam. The bleeding slowed, but the flesh did not close. Inside Mira's mind, the dragon's voice came weak. "The brand is under the heart scale. Only high clearance can remove it." Mira's stomach sank. "High clearance, the ruler." The woman typed on a pad and held it up. "Only upper clearance. I cannot do more." The lights flickered. The door beeped, then unlocked by itself. A tall man in a black uniform stepped in, followed by two silent guards. A silver crest sat on his shoulder, the split circle with 3 claw lines. The medic shrank into the corner. Sen went still. The man removed his helmet. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard. "Mira," he said, using her name like a key. Mira's heart slammed. "How do you know me?" "I am Envoy Halrin," he replied. "I represent the station ruler." He triggered an old pact. He looked at the dragon, but did not touch it. "That creature is forbidden. You cannot keep it." Mira held the chain tighter. "He's not a thing." Halrin's mouth twitched. "Human words. Give us the worm, and we will reward you. Food, shelter, legal work." The offer hit like warmth in a trap. Mira imagined a bed, a locked door, meals that did not come from scraps. For 1 second, her hands almost loosened. Inside her mind, the dragon warned, thinner than before, "If you hand me over, they will open vaults. They will wake weapons." Mira stared at the dragon's eye, struggled to stay open. She faced Halrin. No, Halrin's calm thinned. "Think," he said. "You cannot fight a ruler's fleet. You cannot hide a dragon on a watched station." "Not hiding him," Mira said. "I'm saving him." Halrin took 1 slow step forward. "Kindness has a price," he said. "And the station collects." The dragon's mind opened for a heartbeat. Mira saw a flash, dragons guarding trade ships. Through black space. Then chains, cages, hunters burning brands into scales, while crowds looked away. "Betrayal," the dragon whispered. "They stole what we built." Mira's breath caught. "This market, built on stolen craft," the dragon answered. "On our tech. Halrin watched Mira's face and understood she had seen something. His eyes narrowed. He lifted 1 hand. The guards behind him shifted. The dragon shuddered. Its head dropped to the floor. Mira fell to her knees beside it. "No, stay with me!" Inside her mind, the voice broke apart, fading like smoke. "Mira, if I sleep, don't trust the silence." Then the link went quiet. Outside the door, more boots. gathered and the cameras blinked, watching Mira like a captured secret. Halrin's eyes stayed on Mira. 2 guards blocked the door with stun batons ready. The medic and Sen stood silent, trapped in the small cleaning room. Mira knelt beside the dragon. Its breathing was slow and harsh. The mind voice was gone, like a radio that lost signal. Halrin spoke calmly. You paid the vow price. You don't understand what you started. I understand he is dying, Mira said. He is forbidden cargo, Halrin replied. Hand him over, and you walk away fed and safe. Refuse, and you are detained. 1 guard stepped closer. Sen moved. He snapped a tiny smoke puck onto the ceiling camera. Gray smoke burst out and swallowed the lens. The medic slapped the light. Switched twice, making the room flash bright white. Halrin flinched. Mira grabbed the chain and pulled. Sen shoved the dragon's shoulder. The massive body slid across the floor with a scrape that sounded too loud in the hush. They forced the dragon through the back service door and into the corridor. Halrin's shout echoed behind them. Stop her. Boots hit the floor. Mira ran, dragging the chain with both hands. Her arms shook, but she felt short surges of strength, like the pact still held a thread. Sen kicked open a hatch and shoved it wide. Cold air rushed from below. They dropped into a maintenance tunnel and sealed the panel. For a moment there was only darkness and their breathing. They reached a vent and looked out. Vanta Market had turned into a silent stampede. The aliens moved fast in tight streams. Heads down, mouths closed. Hands flashed signs instead of words. Claws, circles, a finger across the lips. The quiet law was not a rumor now. It was survival. Some faces turned toward Mira. Fear spread quick and clear. Everyone knew a human had bought a dragon. Sen guided Mira under the walkways, keeping 2 shadows. As they shoved the dragon between stacked crates. A vendor saw them and went pale. He did not speak. He raised a slate that read, Hunters coming, do not stay. Above, a drone drifted by, scanning. Its light swept the lane. Mira froze. The drone moved on. Then black masks appeared in the crowd-scale syndicate. They cut through people like knives, not afraid of silence, only using it. 1 masked head turned as if it sensed blood. Mira whispered, Where do we go? Sen pointed to the dragon's collar lock and made a twisting sign. They slipped into a cargo passage behind dead machines. Sen handed Mira a thin pick tool and tapped the collar's tiny marks in a clear pattern. Mira pressed the pick into the seam. The metal clicked in a rhythm, not like a normal lock, but like a code. On the last point, the front plate slid aside. Inside was a folded strip of hard film. Mira pulled it out. Light lines formed a route map across the station, then dropped into older levels. At the end was a crown circle symbol. Under it, 1 word appeared, vault. Mira swallowed. A vault. For dragons. Sen nodded once and pointed down. They moved through service stairs and maintenance lifts. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. Clean panels turned to old steel. Warning paint on the walls said, Nade access. Core level. Behind them, distant boots and drone hums echoed down the shafts. The hunt was still above, but it was coming. At the end of a long corridor, they found a door taller than any market gate. Black alloy, no handle, no keypad, only the crown circle in the center. Mira stepped close. The dragon's collar gave a faint pulse, like a heartbeat answering. She placed her palm on the symbol. Nothing happened. Then thin blue lines lit under her. Hand and spread across the door like veins. A deep locked tone sounded, strong enough to feel in her teeth. The door split open with a slow, heavy sigh. Blue light poured out. Behind her, the dragon's eye fluttered, once half shut, but alive still. A large hologram ignited, forming a cold, geometric face. Its voice was clear and flat. "Pact holder detected," it said. Mira stood frozen as the vault woke up. Asterisk blue light filled the vault like cold water. Mira stepped inside first, still holding the chain. Sin followed, eyes wide. The dragon's body slid over the threshold with a dull scrape, then went still. The hologram's face hovered above a round platform. It was not friendly, it looked. Like a machine wearing a mask. "Pact holder detected," it repeated. Identity. Human. Status. Unregistered. Security. Locked. Mira swallowed. "My name is Mira." "Name accepted," the voice said. "Binding confirmed by vow-price transfer. 3 credits." Sen exhaled in disbelief. He typed on his wrist and showed Mira a message. "Old law is real." Mira looked down at the dragon. "Can you help him? He's dying." The hologram shifted. Thin blue lines ran over the dragon's collar, then over the wound. "Subject, KEYWYRM," the AI said. "Condition, poison brand active. Life failure imminent." Mira's heart dropped. "Then fix it." "Cure available," the AI answered. A drawer slid out of the platform with a soft click. Inside sat a small vial, dark red, sealed in glass. The liquid moved like it was alive. The AI spoke again. "Starblood catalyst. 1 dose. Warning. Activation requires true consent of pact holder." Mira frowned. "What does that mean?" "Meaning the catalyst will not work through force." Or THEFT, the AI said. "Responds to choice and intent. Pact holder must accept deeper binding." Mira stared at the vial. Deeper binding, like a chain. Sen's hands moved in fast signs. "Dangerous forever," the AI confirmed. "Deeper binding creates shared signal. Subject will hear holder, holder will hear subject. Pain may cross, fear may cross, death may cross." Mira felt cold all the way to her ribs. She looked back at the corridor outside the vault. Somewhere up there were guards, syndicate, and the ruler's people. If she stayed, they would find this door. The dragon's eye fluttered open for a second. It tried to focus on her, but the lid drooped again. Mira whispered, "If I do nothing, you die."
Ow.
No answer came in her mind. Only weak breathing. Sen touched Mira's shoulder and pointed at the door, urging her to leave. Then he pointed at the vial, then at Mira's chest, as if asking, "Are you sure?" Mira's hand shook. She thought of warm food, a safe bed, and a life where nobody chased her. She thought of Halrin's offer. She thought of the market looking away while a living being died in a cage. Mira lifted the vial. The glass felt strangely warm. "I accept," she said, voice small but steady. "I accept the deeper binding." Da. Vault hummed. Blue lines ran up Mira's arm like light under skin, stopping at her throat, then her heart. The AI spoke softer, almost like respect. "Consent received. Beginning catalyst link." Mira knelt beside the dragon's chest. She found the heart scale the AI highlighted with a glowing mark. Her fingers pressed it, and the scale loosened as if it recognized her touch. Beneath it, a black brand line pulsed like poison ink. Mira uncapped the vial and poured a single drop onto the brand. The drop spread fast, turning the black line red, then bright white. The dragon jerked. Its claws flexed. Air rushed into its lungs like a storm entering a room. Mira gasped as a wave of pain hit her own chest. She bit her lip hard to stay quiet. Tears rose, but she did not pull away. The poison line cracked, then broke apart into ash. The dragon's eye opened wide, clear and sharp. This time, the mind voice returned. "Stronger, Mira." She almost laughed and cried at once. "You're back." "Bound." The dragon replied, and the word held weight. Then, softer, "Thank you." Before Mira could answer, the vault lights flickered. A new alert rang through the walls, deeper than the market alarm. External lockdown, the AI announced. Ruler fleet arriving. Dock seal in progress. Sen turned pale. He pointed upward, then made a closing fist. Mira stood, holding the chain. The dragon lifted its head higher than before, still weak, but awake. Its wings trembled, and a low heat rolled off its scales. Warning. Outside the vault door, distant boots began to echo closer. The vault door trembled as boots struck the corridor outside. Metal echoed through old walls, closer every second. Mira tightened her grip on the chain. Sen pressed his ear to the seam and signed, "Many." The AI hovered, calm and cold. Intrusion. "Hi," it said. "Evacuate through auxiliary route." A floor panel slid open, revealing a narrow ladder shaft. Mira looked at the dragon. "Can you climb?" she whispered. "I can move," the dragon answered. "Not fast. Then we move smart," Mira said. Mira went down first. Sen followed. The dragon lowered itself after them, claws finding edges like memory. The shaft groaned, but held above. The vault door boomed. "Open it," a voice shouted loud enough to break the quiet law. The dragon's pupils narrowed. "They do not fear witness anymore," it said. "They fear losing control." The shaft ended in a low tunnel. Their footsteps were soft, but every sound carried. A wall. Screen flickered. Dock sealed. Packed incident under ruler authority. Mira's stomach tightened. "They sealed the docks," she whispered. "Not yet," the dragon replied. "First, you must understand what you hold." They reached a grated opening over a wide service hall. Mira peeked through. Vanta Market had turned sharp and tense. People moved. In clusters, eyes wide, hands flashing signs instead of voices. Drones hovered low. Guards formed lines at intersections. Then chaos sparked. A blast shook a stall. Smoke rose. Aliens ran without screaming, but the rushing feet sounded like rain. Through the haze, black masks moved. Scale Syndicate, pushing panic, steering crowds, forcing guards to chase the wrong targets. "They're making a riot," Mira whispered. Sen nodded and signed. "Distraction, Hunchu." The dragon's mind voice hardened. "They want the key worm alive." Mira frowned. "Key worm? I am not only a dragon," the dragon said. "I am a lock and a key. I can open vaults that should stay closed. I can wake shields. I can wake weapons." Mira felt ice in her chest. "Why they branded you?" "Yes, they could not tame me, so they broke me." Below, a patrol passed. At the center walked Envoy Halrin, helmet on, eyes scanning. A tracker pulsed on his wrist pad, pointing deeper into the station. "He's tracking us." Mira breathed. Sin pointed at Mira's wrist mark, then at the collar. The pact the dragon spoke, calmer but firm. The bond can be sensed by those who know the law. But it can also be used. "How?" Mira asked. "Speak to the station," the dragon replied. "Old systems listen. Humans built half these walls. Dragons built the other half." Mira shook her head. "I can't fight a fleet." "You do not need to fight," the dragon said. "You need to expose a..." Heavy thud shook the hall. A massive market screen activated, showing the ruler's seal. The riot slowed as eyes lifted. The feed switched to a tall figure with a dark visor. His voice poured from every speaker, confident and loud. "Citizens of Vanta," he said, "remain calm. A dangerous creature has been stolen by a human thief. The human is named Mira." Mira's blood ran cold, heads turned, fingers pointed. Even in silence, blame traveled fast. The ruler continued. "The human activated a forbidden pact. This is not bravery. This is sabotage. Return her and the worm, and the market will be spared. Sen grabbed Myra's sleeve, urging her to move. But Myra stared at the screen, the visor tilted as if looking through walls. "Myra," the ruler said again, "you activated something. You do not understand," inside Mira's mind. The dragon warned low and clear, "He is lying. He understands perfectly." Behind them, a door clanged open. Flashlights cut through the tunnel, sweeping toward the grate. Howren's voice echoed, "Close. Now. There. Don't let her reach the upper lanes." Boots hammered closer. A stun baton crackled. Mira could smell ozone. Sen's hands trembled on a wrench. The tunnel offered only two choices: surrender, or make the station listen again. Today. Now. Mira's hands tightened. The dragon rose beside her, wings spreading enough to fill the tunnel with shadow. "Tell me what to do," Mira thought. The dragon's answer was steady. "Stand and do not be silent." Asterisk flashlights flooded the tunnel. Howren's guards advanced. Batons. Humming, Mira stepped forward before Sen could pull her back. She lifted her chin and spoke loud and clear. "I am not a thief." Howren stopped at the grate. His visor hid his eyes, but his voice stayed calm. "Mira, give us the key worm. This ends peacefully." Mira held the chain. Behind her, the dragon's wings pressed the tunnel walls. Its mind voice flowed into her thoughts like a steady drum. "Now. Use the vault link." Mira focused on the blue warmth still running under her skin from the catalyst. She pictured the crown symbol and the station network like a web. "AI," she said. "Vault system." "Can you hear me?" Flat tone answered from nowhere. Pact holder confirmed. "Command access limited." "Show me the caller record," Mira said. "Show everyone who branded him." Howren's posture changed. "Stop!" he snapped, and his guards raised their batons. The dragon breathed once. Gravity pressed down, light but firm. The guards' knees bent. Their arms shook. They could not step forward. "Broadcasted," Mira said. Station screens flickered across Vanta Market. In its place appeared a simple file caller owner log. Clear dates, clear signatures. The crest of the ruler's fleet stamped every line. 1,000 faces tightened. 1,000 eyes widened. Mira kept talking, voice steady. It was not stolen. He was caged, branded, sold, and the crest on his collar belongs to the ruler. Howren's voice rose. "This is forged." The AI answered him with cold clarity. "Data source, original vault archive. Forgery, not detected. The quiet law." "Broke," a vendor shouted. "They did this." Another voice joined, and another. The market filled with sound again, angry and alive. Howren lunged forward, forcing his body through the pressure. He reached for Myra's wrist. The dragon moved. It did not bite. It did not burn. It placed one claw between Howren and Mira, stopping him like a wall. Howren froze, breath fast. The dragon's eyes locked on him. In Myra's mind, the dragon spoke. And its words felt like thunder. "You will not touch her." Howren swallowed and stepped back. His guards, shaking, lowered their weapons. Above, the ruler's feed returned for a moment. The visor figure spoke with rage. "Shut the market down. Seal all exits. Arrest every witness." But the crowd below was already moving. People shoved. Drones away. Merchants turned off scanners. Workers pulled manual levers. They were done being silent. Sen grabbed Mira's arm and signed, "Root." Now the Vault AI projected a new map on the wall, a service rail to an old cargo launch tube, a path the fleet did not control. Mira ran, Sen ran beside her. The dragon followed, heavy but stronger now. Alarms blared behind them. Boots chased. But the market itself blocked the guards, bodies turning into walls, hands pushing the rulers. Men back. At the launch tube, A small maintenance craft waited on a rail, dusty and forgotten. Mira climbed in first, hands flying over simple controls she barely knew. Sin slammed the hatch. The dragon curled its wings tight, fitting like a storm forced into a box. The craft shot forward with a roar. Tube lights streaked past. A final door opened into space. Stars filled the window. Behind them, a patrol ship tried to lock on. Warning lights flashed on the craft panel. Mira's hands slipped, but sense steadied them. The dragon breathed gently, and a thin blue shield wrapped the hull. The locked tone died outside for a long moment. Mira could only breathe. Then the dragon's mind voice returned, softer now. You bought a dying dragon for 3 credits. Mira's eyes stung. No, she whispered. I paid for a life. Psst. The dragon watched her with quiet respect. Humans are small, it said, but your will is loud. Behind them, Vanta Market shrank into a bright ring. The ruler's crest flickered and broke as the crowd kept shouting. The dragon lifted its head. The galaxy will hear, it said. Not because of me, because of you. Mira looked at the endless dark ahead, afraid and alive at the same time. Then let them hear my choice.